Okay, good afternoon all. We will start our next session soon. Kanetkar sir, should we start now? Hello? Kanetkar sir? Bara.
Hello.
Yes sir.
Yeah. We'll
Can we
start.
start now sir?
No
Okay,
issues.
okay. So, good morning all. Dr. Kanetkar sir is extending his lecture for this session also, so that we can get utmost benefit of his expert knowledge. Now I request Kanetkar sir to take charge of this session again.
Okay. Thank you, madam. I hope you have gone through my previous videos in the previous session as well. The first one was related to catchment delineation and stream extraction on digital elevation model, how to do it in QGIS. And the second one was brief video about storm drainage design using digital elevation model data. That digital elevation model data either can be from total station survey data or like say Astrodem or SRTM elevation model data. Generally, for design purpose, accuracy or resolution wise, if you are using DEM data, then it has to be a combination of total station survey as well as DEM digital elevation model, which is minimum say 30-meter resolution, which is available free of cost. But if you are using for commercial purpose, then you may even bring in say 1-meter resolution or even higher resolution DEM data, depending upon project purpose for floodplain mapping or for any other hydrology project or any project, maybe say watershed management project. Likewise, such a DEM can be procured and further process and analysis can be done depending upon project requirements. The second demo which I have shown you was related to Civil 3D, wherein you process the same DEM and delineate catchment in a very faster way. That is why, just for the sake of comparison, I had shown both videos, one in QGIS and other in Civil 3D, so that you get an idea as to how catchments can be delineated and further design depending upon project can be done. Okay, now this particular session being an afternoon session, I can expect slight bit of reluctance to go through all those videos and in detailed way because in the catchment delineation and stream extraction video initially I had kept few theoretical background because as a faculty we need to know before the tool is being used what actually happens behind the tool or what is the fundamental theory behind that so that we can practically use that tool or software in a better way. So that was the objective. Similarly, in this session now, because the previous session was related to processing of digital elevation model, let us say raster image processing. Now in this session, what I have thought of, depending upon this time schedule and time slot, I have put in say 3 videos through those. You know may not be able to see those, but just let me read out those. The first one is related to software called as GeoEasy. So it's an open source tool available free. You can download it and use it. It's basically post-processing software for total station data or your field book data. About 10 total station data can be imported into the software or tool and surveying calculations can be done in that particular tool. My objective of showing that about 20 minutes video on Geo is because knowing this, I have used that tool way back, right from 2017 in QGIS. But now, last year it was now made available open source and it can be used independently. So even if you do not know QGIS or any background of GIS, still you can use that GeoEasy tool and use it for surveying calculations. You can even share it with your students and come out of traditional way of entering data into your field book, doing calculations manually. Obviously, that has to be done for understanding. But let's go one step ahead, where you download local station data, post-process it, and use those calculations and different calculations. I have demonstrated few, not all, because my objective is not to teach you a whole software, then it might take more time, but just to make you aware of that software and its capabilities. You can further explore on your own and use it. And importantly, allow your students also to use it, and don't keep it to yourself, and share it to as many as possible. That is because that is the objective of any open source project or any open source software. If you are competent enough to even develop your own code in that, you can do so, because the source code is also available. Likewise, same is true with QGIS. It's also a free open source software. So you can have your own code. If you are doing research or some for any other commercial project, you can have your own code or plugin and use it in QGIS. That is how you built in, you develop your skills as well as you strengthen the open source project, or it is sometimes called as FOSS projects. So please go through that first video, which is GeoEasy. Okay, so that is, I'm just giving an overall review of what those videos are all about. Once I do that, then you can start watching. Okay, the second video is about some tools in QGIS which you can use for purpose of education. What that I mean is, there are number of tools, and I have made number of such videos of QGIS and other tools, software, wherein you can give training to students based on such tools. But in this particular, I have combined 3 plugins from QGIS, which you can easily demonstrate to your students. So you download QGIS, download those plugins. The first plugin which I'm talking about is about toposheet indexing. So in surveying, as you know, you might teach how to read toposheets, how to read toposheet indexing, numbering, and then find out a particular toposheet for area of your interest from Survey of India data. So how this all you can do it in QGIS itself using that plugin. So that will help you to understand. First, to define your own region of interest in QGIS, let us say Pune region, and then you find out from that tool which toposheets you require of what scale. So likewise, those numbering can be easily understood, and even students can also understand the indexing or numbering instead of teaching the traditional way of write-ups and then asking them to mug up the procedure of toposheet index numbering. So this is one way of learning things in a new way. So that is first part, that is toposheet indexing. The second one is related to visualizing a digital elevation model in 3D, so that students understand the overall topography of a surface, whatever surface of their area of interest. So they can visualize that in QGIS. And importantly, because in our institute, what we used to do previously is based on contour data, we used to have a thermocol model of the particular topography, showing peaks, valleys, etc., so that student get a feel of that 3D object. Now what you can do further is use that DEM data, digital elevation model data, extract a small area of interest, and using QGIS plugin called as 3D printing plugin, you can actually extract DEM data, that is digital elevation model data, and you can create a STL file which is used generally for 3D printing. So you have your own 3D model, physical model of your own specified dimension depending upon your budget of 3D printing, and then you can create that STL model and then give it to the print. Now you can think of this simple tool point of view. That means you can give such activities to students, and students can do project in the sense mini project or activity, whatever you want to say, so that they are engrossed in such activities where they create their own physical model by 3D printing it. Probably it may cost you college, or they themselves can pay for that, but it can be a good educational tool. So to understand that, I have provided that second small video built in into that, wherein you understand how to create such 3D print model based on digital elevation model. And last one in the same second video is about say how to create cross sections profile from digital elevation model. Because let us say you are doing river survey and you create cross section in that digital elevation model and then do further processing, maybe civil engineering application of calculating hydraulic routing, that is floodplain mapping, river discharges and whatnot. So, or you may export those cross section to software called as HECRAS, HEC HMS or WMS likewise. So to create such cross section in a faster way, how you can do it, that you can demonstrate to your students as well, or give them assignment of doing quantity surveying calculations using those cross sections from digital elevation model or profile as well. So these are simple tools. There are a number of such tools, but because of time constraints, I have taken these three so that you keep your interest in watching those videos and delivering the same to your students as well later. So that is the video number 2. That is this different plugins in QGIS. And so it is around about 18 to 20 minutes again. You may not be able to skip that video because it's locked. So you will have to complete those 2 videos. There are no questions in it as in previous session. So just see that you watch those videos and understand the overall procedure. And the last one is of 50 minutes duration of spatial interpolation. So let me highlight as to what that video is all about. Half part, that 50 minute video, about say 20 to 24 minutes are spent on theoretical background of how to do spatial interpolation. Remember, RSGIS comes into picture whenever there is spatial as well as temporal variation. That means there is variation of a particular attribute along space as well as over a period of time. So if that is happening, then RSGIS data can be very helpful. So from that point of view, you can what I have tried to do is help you to understand how this spatial interpolation can be done. What I have done over there is first I have explained all the methods of spatial interpolation, just like you do interpolation in case of contouring and manually student do it and plot contours, how these things can be done by different methods in QGIS or using GIS platform. So therein what I have tried to do is from a vector data, let us say 5-6 point data is available with latitude, longitude, and at particular point, that is at particular location, certain attribute is available. Attribute in the sense it can be any. For example, I have taken rainfall data, but it can be any other data which you can imagine or think of. Like say it can be air pollution data, it can be water quality data depending upon location, or it can be earthquake intensity, it can be noise data. For example, you give a student project during say Ganpati festival and ask them to take a handheld GPS as well as a mobile wherein you have sound sensor and they record decibel values. So you a particular location and over a period of time you have sound values or say water quality values, likewise, or rainfall values. You just think of any project wherein at a particular point such attributes are available. Likewise, you collect data at different points, maybe 10 points, 50 points, 100 points, depends, depending upon how exhaustive your survey is. And then how to take it onto GIS. Once you take it, then how to create maps or surface, maybe contours, you may call it depending upon whether those are isochronal maps or isochronal maps or elevation contours, whatever. So how these things can be done using QGIS. So it's an interesting project to understand. Once you understand the fundamental theory, and then you use it to whatever project you think of. So that is about 50 minutes duration. So if you are bored enough not to watch the theory part, which you also later can understand or you may be knowing already, you may skip previous theory about say 20 minutes, and then you focus more on how I do it, how I do those things in QGIS, and you may complete that video as well as early as possible. So this is what I have planned in these sessions, 3 videos, different videos. So it's a mixture of number of things. In Marathi, you call it khichdi, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to focus on a particular topic only because it will probably give you a more overall idea as to how these tools can be helpful from either civil engineering purpose, application purpose, your research, or maybe related to student project purpose, or even student. You can involve students in such new advanced. No, I'm not saying that those are advanced, but maybe for your student, then it may be advanced. So likewise, such interactions and new techniques can be accommodated in curriculum as well. Okay, so this is all about my today's session. Now, what I would like to do is share the new link of this afternoon session with 3 videos. Remember, please answer those questions if they are, at all they pop up during video. For first 2 small videos, there are no questions to be answered. But for spatial interpolation, I have deliberately provided few questions. You may skip them, but please provide input so that you are also tested for your own basic understanding during watching the video. So that is all about what I wanted to say. And whatever interaction you want to have, probably you can ask me later. May not be through this video session, but sometime afterwards also you can contact me for any other queries related to such demonstrations. I will be happy to answer. Okay, madam, I think I will share the link and probably they can start with those watching those sessions. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then I
So
will.
then you are going to post that link in the WhatsApp group, sir?
Yeah, I will post that link to WhatsApp group and the participants can immediately switch on. Again, I repeat, if you have not watched that previous session, the link will be made available on WhatsApp. Instructions I have already provided. Please click on the link. Try to open it on your desktop or laptop in a browser. If you are opening it in and try to put in your name, surname as nickname, and after that you watch the videos. If the video has questions, please answer them. If video doesn't have question, then you can watch, but you may not be able to skip. But for last video, that is partial interpolation video, which is big one, you may skip pre, uh, uh, first theory part if you are not interested in learning that theory, or you may learn it later, and then actually how I do those things in QGIS. So this is all what I wanted to share. Okay. If you are watching on mobile, then as I already told you, when you click on the link at the bottom and put your nickname, you will see those 3 videos. But before that, you may be asked to install app. You don't do that. Just scroll down at the bottom of mobile. 3 dots will appear, and from that you select desktop site or desktop browser, so that those videos can be also seen on your mobile. Okay, so that is all about the session. I think I will stop and share the link immediately.
Sir, one request was there.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please join at 2:15 so that we can discuss on queries regarding this session, if any posted by participants in the chat box?
At what time?
2:15.
I think it's 1 o'clock. No? It's okay. I think 2:30 will be okay, because
Okay,
then
sir.
by that time most of them will be able to complete.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Then we
Thank
will meet
you.
again at 2:30.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Madam, here transport is there. Transport.
Hello participants. Link is provided in the chat box also. If you have any questions regarding this session and previous session, please give your queries in chat box, and we will meet again at 2:30. So if you have any queries, your queries will be solved by Kanetkar sir at 2:30. Okay, thank you. Hello, am I audible? सर आवाज येतो ना? कानेटकर सरांना आपल्याला हे करायला लागेल, अनम्यूट करायचं. हॅलो कानेटकर सर, तुम्हाला अनम्यूट साठी रिक्वेस्ट सेंड केली आहे.
हां, केली.
Okay, sir, I think there are no questions in chat box.
Okay.
So we will conclude here.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, I am very glad to propose vote of thanks for this session. I am thankful to Dr. Kanetkar sir for explaining a unique software like QGIS and taking the demo of every participants. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Participants, our next session will start at 3 p.m. sharp. You can join with next link which will be sent on our group. You can join through that link again.